Hello everybody, and welcome back to my F1 22 My Team career mode. We are now at Austria for the Austrian Grand Prix. If you haven't seen the last installment, go and check that out before you check this one out. This is your last chance to do so before spoilers. So we are off the back of a big result in Silverstone, P5, and I am so chuffed with that. Let's continue that momentum here and try and maybe get a couple of points here as well. So we start off with Pirelli hot laps, and I just want to say I've noticed on Twitter and on the comment section of my videos that there are people slating me for using the racing line and traction control. Now I'm just going to state now, I will be turning traction control down to medium at some point within the next few races, and racing line I use just because I have really bad coordination. Like IRL, I'm the sort of person that can barely walk in a straight line without causing some kind of devastation. So that's why the racing line is there. It's just because of my own terrible coordination. But anyway, enough of that. We are here in Austria. We are trying to get out of Q1. George Russell setting the bar there at a 106.2. I don't know if anyone went faster before I went round to complete this lap. It feels like a relatively decent lap, to be honest, and it's a 106.6, and I felt like at the time it was a relatively decent lap. However, I'm down in 21st, so we're gonna need to improve, and Sebastian Vettel right in front of me, just costing me a couple attempts there. Not impressed with that one bit, but now we're gonna have to try and make the time up in 4 corners, which is what we have done, but it's still only good enough for 18th, and in the end, we're still on the back row. But the good news is, it's a sprint weekend, and there is lots to be gained on a sprint weekend. And in fact, we were only 2 or 3 tenths shy of making Q2, so I feel like the time we lost to Vettel was what made the difference.
Welcome to today's sprint. This is shaping up to be another fantastic weekend. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's sprint. Fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday, and it's put him on pole. And Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Sainz, Russell, Max Verstappen, and Norris, Perez, Ricciardo, Magnussen, and Fernando Alonso, Bottas, Mick Schumacher, Esteban Ocon, and Vettel, Gasly, Joe, Daniel Ticktum, and Alex Albon, Stroll, Tsunoda, Joker, and Nicholas Latifi. Which of these drivers will get pole position today? We will soon find out.
So we're getting ready to get underway for the formation lap of this sprint. Charles Leclerc unsurprisingly starts first, but look at Lewis Hamilton on the front row there. So Lulu's definitely made some gains. Then it's Sainz third, then it's Russell, Verstappen, Norris, Perez, Ricciardo, Magnussen and Alonso. And we have got quite a lot of places to gain. I'm hoping though that we can get maybe P13, P14. There's 12 laps and overtaking is very much possible round here, so that should give us a chance to, like I said, at least gain a few positions. And what is that weaving I'm doing with the steering wheel? Looks like I'm doing the Harlem Shake with the steering wheel. What is that? Anyway, the last cars are forming into the grid. I believe that's myself and Latifi, and we're getting ready for 12 laps of the Austrian sprint race, which will begin very soon. The green flag is waved, and that means only one thing: we are ready to get racing. And we are now racing. It's lights out and away we go. We've made a decent-ish start, but Latifi's away like a rocket, and we are now down to last. But I'm going to go around the outside while everyone's squabbling and try and gain a couple of positions. There's a bit of rubbing going on behind me. We have gained a position off the start then. We went round the outside of Sonoda. Latifi had nowhere to go. We're now going to the inside here. Are we going to make ground? Tictum's going for a massive dive bomb there. And I think he's made contact with Albon in the process. There is a bit of rubbing going on. And Gasly gets the better exit. So we have gained 3 places, although Stroll's having a look. I'm not having any of that. You're not coming through there, sunshine. As I'm now getting ready to have a look at Gasly. Stroll having another look up the inside, but it's not going to happen. Now we're going to have a look round the outside of Gasly. Gasly covers the inside, which is why we're having to go to the outside. We go around the outside of Pierre Gasly, and that is P18. So another place gained. That is the momentum we want to carry forward into this sprint, because that is what is going to be moving us forward in a better position for the main event. Right, onto the rear of Tictum now. Can we do anything about him? Not immediately, it seems, and they're still squabbling in front of us and sorting themselves out, and that's backing this little pack up, and that's giving me a chance to maybe get some momentum on them and stay on the back of them. Right, Stroll out of the race. His engine has failed on him, and we're now having a look at Dan Tictum from P17. We're going to go up the inside, and Dan just dives out of the way. Faster teammate coming through. Thank you, Dan, for being such a sporting teammate, although Gasly's gone through as well, sadly. I do feel bad for that one, but can Tictum get him back? Oh, there's a yellow flag ahead. What's gone on there? Oh, that'll just be where Stroll's pulled off to the side. But there was contact ahead of me. I could hear the rubbing, so someone's had a little bit of a bang. And meanwhile, Gasly's coming down the inside, but we're going to cover him off. We give him a little bit of space. He's still alongside, and I'm giving him literally only the width of an F1 car. He is taking it, but we have the inside line, and Gasly not able to make anything or any inroads in there. But I don't want to be fighting Gasly. I want to be fighting the cars that are ahead of me. I don't want to be losing time. There's a few cars in the pits there, so I'm not sure what's happened there. I think they've had their own incident. Whoa! Zhou Guanyu just braking late there and going into the side of Ocon. Now Guanyu and Albon are side by side. Gasly is right up my chop. I'm very nervous going into this corner. Ocon's gone wide. Zhou Guanyu goes through. Albon tried to capitalise, but I think he got a little bit boxed in. Meanwhile, we're watching this battle between between a McLaren and 2 Hasses, and there's a bit of rubbing going on there. I think Mick Schumacher has gone into Ricciardo, and Ricciardo's now side by side with Kevin Magnussen. Has Ricciardo got that done? Not just yet. They're still side by side. Going into 3. Is Ricciardo going to get the move done? Oh, no, he doesn't. And I think there's still just a little bit of wheel banging going on there. And Mick Schumacher is holding back there. And I wonder if he's been tagged in all of this. Ricciardo and Magnussen still fighting it out. And they're still side by side. But I think Ricciardo has now got the place. But the 2 McLarens and Ricciardo in the pits there. So the 2 McLarens and Mick Schumacher in the pits there. So that'll be where Mick and Ricciardo came together. I'm not sure what happened with Lando Norris or why, but there you can see Norris pulling into the pits, and he must have had his own incident. Right. Now we're back with the battle for Albon, with Albon and Ocon, and because of all that going on, and as the many cars that have pitted, this is now the battle for 9th between Ocon and Albon. And I want a piece of this because that's 1 place away from gaining a World Championship point in the sprint. And what a result that would be to gain a championship point in the sprint. We're now watching Magnussen and... Sorry, that's not Magnussen. Yeah, that is Magnussen, I do apologise. Magnussen and Bottas having a bit of a wheel-to-wheel scrap. And this is Fernando Alonso we're on board with. And Bottas comes out better in that scrap, but I think someone got tagged there as we dive down the inside of Alex Albon to take P10. And Zhou Guanyu and Ocon are battling, and that will be a World Championship point if we can take either of them. So I'm not fussed which one we overtake, as long as we overtake one of them, as that would be a great result to have here in this sprint race. So many cars have been in the pits, and now Kevin Magnussen's in the pits because he's tagged Bottas, and Alonso goes into him. Will Alonso be pitting next time round? Because now with Magnussen in, that puts us into P9. But will Fernando Alonso need to pit? Coming round to complete the next lap, we're soon going to find out if Alonso needs to pit. That is a very wide exit. And sorry, that is very wide into the penultimate corner. And yes, Fernando Alonso is in the pit. So we are now holding on to a provisional championship point here in this sprint race. So many cars have been in and changed wings because of the contact they've all had in this race. This has just been craziness. Now Alex Albon, who's got the sniff of a point, is like a bloodhound on my rear, wanting to take that point. And here he comes again. We're covering the inside. Albon's gone for the outside. Albon's got the better momentum and the DRS. He's gone through, but I'm going to dive down the inside and take that place straight back. And Dan Ticktum is now rubbing his hands together. He is hoping this goes wrong. Right, next lap and final lap. Albon down the inside, but I'm able to see him off around the outside. And Albon lost momentum there, and Ticktum was able to get back through. But it's going to be P8 in this sprint race here in Austria, and we pick up a World Championship point. Get in.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
So let's review the drivers' standings. Charles Leclerc, currently leading the championship standings, extends his lead even further with this result. It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. No change in the top spot, but with today's points, their hold on the lead is getting weaker. There is also a strong showing from the Mercedes team today as they make their way up the standings. The grid is set then, so that just leaves the race itself. Join us tomorrow, where we'll be live with all the action. And until then, goodbye. Welcome to the beautiful Styrian Mountains for another chapter in the story of the Austrian Grand Prix. It's one of the shortest laps on the calendar today then, with 7 rights and just 3 lefts making up the 10 corners of this high-speed circuit. Turn 2 is barely a corner at all. They'll be flat out through there, a left-hand kink into the uphill braking zone of turn 3. Turns 1, 3 and 4 are all potential opportunities to overtake. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position, and starting next to them is George Russell. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Verstappen, Bottas, Esteban Ocon, and Joker, Ticktum, Albon, and Carlos Sainz. Tsunoda, Mick Schumacher, Kevin Magnussen, and Vettel. Fernando Alonso, Ricciardo, Pierre Gasly, and Nicholas Latifi. Perez, Norris, Hamilton. They've taken a grid penalty. And Lance Stroll brings the grid to a close.
Right, are you ready for more? Of course you are. It's the formation lap now for the main event, and look how different that grid looks as opposed to how it looked for the sprint race. Leclerc and Russell are on the front row, then it's Verstappen and Bottas, Ocon, Zhou, myself and Ticktum on row 4, and because of incoming rain I have decided to start this race on the soft tyres and try and gain some places early on. So I'm going aggressive here. We're in a good grid position and I'm aiming to try and make it better, but of course where we sit in the performance, that could hamper us because we're still towards the back in terms of the performance. So I'm not expecting too much. I'm not getting my hopes up. We're just going to go into this and see what we can do. But it's definitely a great grid position to start from. And we're getting ready for the start of the Austrian Grand Prix. It's lights out and away we go. Zhou Guanyu's got a really bad start and we might capitalise from that. However, he's got a good secondary phase. He's covering us well. And we've actually got nowhere to go there. Tixham's blocked my way into the corner. And as a result, we've lost the place to Tixham and Albon. So Dan Tixham up to 7th, Albon up to 8th. But we've managed to hold on to P9. And we've got Yuki Tsunoda having a look up the inside. But that's not going to happen. We brake very late and nearly hit Alex Albon. We're able to go round the outside of the corner. And we've got past Albon. But Albon's now coming back past us. It's me and Albon again, battling over P8. Battle resumed from the sprint. We're going around the outside of Albon. Albon still hanging on side by side. And the virtual safety car has come out. And we are just ahead of Alex Albon there. So Albon having to back out of that one. And it looks like an AlphaTauri of Gasly has got into the McLaren. And then a McLaren has got into a Haas. So we've got a virtual safety car for that one. So early chaos already in this Austrian Grand Prix. And you can see Pierre Gasly without a nose. And are we gonna see the early phase of that? No, I don't think we are. That's unfortunate, but you can see how overcast it is. Right, back to racing, and we've kind of caught our teammate napping here. We're going to go round the outside. Tixham's trying to fight me off as he would, because this is a great result and a great place to be. And he would want to hold on to that for the points. But anyway, Tixham down to 8th now. And he's got Alex Albon having a go at him. So right now, Tixham just falling down. He's trying to hold on to it. But Albon, I think, has just got the momentum on him. Meanwhile, we're watching Yuki Tsunoda. And that's a McLaren making a very kamikaze dive bomb there. And he's gone straight into the side of the Mercedes. I'm not quite sure what that was going to achieve. But anyway, Ocon now pulling into the pits as the rain starts to fall. And I can't help but wonder, has Ocon called this right? Lap 4 out of 36, and Ocon is into the pits. He has taken on intermediates. Has he called this one right? We're going to find out. I think he has, because by the time we get to the end of the lap, look how wet the circuit is. So Ocon, the one driver to pit in for intermediates, and you know what? He's called the strategy spot on, because now we're in the pits, and it rained quite heavily that lap. So likewise with Lewis Hamilton, I think it was Silverstone 2014, when he pitted and the rain came in. Ocon making an inspired call, and as a result, look at that, up into P4. Bottas is just coming out of the pits now. I'm coming out in P6. Then it's Albon and Guan Yu behind me. So Zhou Guan Yu losing out to a double stack there, which isn't helping his race. Albon has now got the attentions of Alonso, and we're now going to struggle in these conditions. Just where getting out of the slow corners, I struggle so much with the traction coming out of the corners, especially in the wet. And Albon is going to get the place on me. Alonso is also right there. Right, we're now switching to the outside to take Albon back. Have we got the position on Albon? Yes, we have. Not letting him through that easily, that's for sure. And Fernando Alonso is going to come through on Albon, is he? Yes, he does. And I think it's inevitable to say that Alonso does get past us unseen, which I do apologise for. But Alonso does get ahead, and now we've got Albon back on us again for P7. Myself and Albon just seems to be the battle that is recurring here at the moment. Alex definitely sniffing a chance of a good result, and like a bloodhound refusing to let it go. Look at this, it's Carlos Sainz cashing in on this as well. So Carlos Sainz getting in on this battle and gaining a position. As a result, Carlos Sainz really getting himself involved there. And he's going to have a look at Alex Albon dead ahead of us. Zhou Guan Yu now, is he going to be able to take advantage of me struggling in the wet? Well, Sainz going down the inside of Albon there. That's not an overtaking place, Carlos. And now this has brought me back into the battle. Is Carlos going to have a look? No, he's switching one side then to the other. He's going around the outside, and he has got that move done. And this just gives me another chance. And Albon, we're going to dive up the inside. Albon gets straight out of the way there. And we have got the place back on Alex Albon. Battle resumes between myself and the Thai Brit driver. Albon now getting past on the straight. I'm going to go down the inside get the move done. I've gone a little bit deep, and Albon just having to accept it again. This battle could go on for many, many laps. Right, Albon back on the outside. But again, I'm going to outbrake him into the hairpin. And I think I'm outbraking myself in the process because we've gone very deep there. And Albon smashed into me. Albon goes straight into me there, and that's a front wing gone. The safety car's out. I went wide. Oh, Alex. I don't really feel like that was my fault there. I feel like Albon could have done more to avoid that. Right, the safety car is in, and we are back racing on lap 16 out of 36. Long way to go in this race, and the rain is getting heavier. So the question is, do you stick it out on intermediates, or do you stick on a set of full wets? My aim is to try and stick it out on the intermediates until the end of the race, or the rain stops, because the rain is due to stop near the end of the race. So that is my game, but first off, it is going to get heavier, and the track is going to get wetter, and Zhou Guanyu getting past me there. And we're now going to have a look round the outside of the Alpha. Oh, he does try to squeeze me a bit there, doesn't he? But we've got that done. Oh, no, we haven't got it done. He's still side by side with me. And just look at the better momentum he gets out of the corner. Zhou Guanyu gaining a position. And I think he's going a bit slow around there. Is there a way through? Not quite. But we do have better momentum here. And I wonder, is there going to be a way through up the inside towards the last corner? Zhou Guanyu is pitting then. And I do wonder, is he considering full wets? Because it's getting very wet, and I've slid off the circuit trying to avoid Zhou Guanyu, who's pitting. And we're now up into P9. So Zhou Guanyu pitting. Is he pitting him for wets? We will only see. More drivers are starting to pit for wets now. And I'm sticking it out. I have made the decision to stick it out. We've got Max Verstappen coming out of the pits. Dead in front of me, you can see that there as the track's getting ever wetter. Verstappen's going to struggle for traction in the first few corners. This is where he's vulnerable. Let's stick one up the inside of the reigning champion, and up into P3 we go. And collision, rubbish. Rubbish, that was firm but fair racing, that. Anyway, George Russell has somehow turned up to have a go. He's now down the inside. We're trying to fight this off around the outside. But Russell's going to get the better run because he's on the better tyres. So it is just about time for full wet tyres. And Max Verstappen having a look up the inside with side by side. Not letting it go easy. Still side by side here. But eventually I think I have to surrender the place. Although we're not doing it yet. We're still side by side. But look at the momentum Max has got on the exit. And that is P4 for Max.
Tyres at the moment.
You're still happy we're on the right tyres. We're losing seconds a lap to those on wets. And now Carlos Sainz has come back at me. He's going around the outside of one. Ooh, wheel banging there. No way through for Carlos. Right. Is he going to find a way through into the next corner? Hamilton is also on intermediates, interestingly. And probably I'm losing time because of how much I'm fighting the full wet runners, but I don't want to lose time, and I don't want to lose position, you know, especially if they're going to pit again for inters. Right, Carlos up the inside, I'm on the outside. Give him a little bit of space. Carlos still tags me, but I think we've kept the position, and now Carlos going for it again. He's just on the far superior tyre at this point because the track is just about too wet to hold on to intermediates. I'm going to brake very late, and well, I've outbraked myself a little bit there. There's just no turning grip at all as Lewis Hamilton gets past me, and my engineer is reminding me there is a new strategy on the MFD. Carlos Sainz now gets ahead of me, and there are cars swarming all over me now, and I do feel like maybe I should have taken on the full wets. But we're still in P6. We're still just... Yeah, I know there's a new strategy, Mark. Shut up. Anyway, we're now being passed by Norris, but I'm going to try and get back past him just gently on the brakes here.
There appears to be an issue. We're currently investigating.
No, don't you dare. I'm having too much fun in this race. having wheel-to-wheel battles. Don't you dare tell me my engine is failing. Please no. This is such a fun battle. We're in Pete, and the track is starting to dry, so this race could start coming to us. So, no! No! The track was starting to dry and this race was starting to come back to us. I don't believe it. That is rotten luck. We're having to pull off to the side because that is our race over.
A fantastic team effort then to secure victory here in the Styrian Alps. Talk to me, Ant. What was it that set them apart from the competition today?
I think that smart tyre management on track and very smooth driving definitely assisted in their victory today. That combination meant they got the absolute maximum out of their tyres at all times.
And here we are, a team that is no stranger to the podium, taking their place on top once again. A sublime race today and a stunning win for Ferrari.
That race was coming to us. Even though we were on the wrong tyre initially and we started losing 2 to 3 seconds a lap, I feel like with the track starting to dry, we would have gained on the full wet runners, and that race was going to come back to us, and that big points could have been scored there.
Who would you say is a contender?
That is rotten luck for us to have the engine failure as we did, but that's racing. It happens, but that one was gutting. It's another win then for Charles Leclerc, with George Russell getting second, Verstappen getting third, Hamilton fourth, Sainz, Norris, Albon up in seventh. What a result for him. I believe Zhou Guanyu gets 8th, Bottas 9th, and Sergio Perez rounds out the top 10. I haven't the words for how gutted I am about that one. But we still hold on to 12th in the standings with 19 points. I just feel like we could have added to that tally there. But there you can see the result. Leclerc in the championship just extending that gap again. And I think it's a matter of when over if he will win this first season of this career mode series and this alternative universe of F1 that we have created. Russell in second, still battling for second with Verstappen in the standings. Alonso still holding on to fourth, and then fifth is Hamilton, Sainz, Norris, Bottas, Perez and Ocon rounding out the top 10. Well, thank you so much for watching this installment of Career Mode. Don't forget to leave a like and hit the subscribe button if you're new and you want to see more content from me. I'm really enjoying the sprint weekends in this game because it gives you a chance to gain off of... If you have a poor qualifying, it gives you a chance to make significant gains. But until the next time, TTFN guys, ta-ta for now, and thank you ever so much for watching.